Very happy to be here. Isn't this exciting? I think I first ran a jazz session back in 2007 with you, actually. So today we're going to do some experiments. I have one slide, and so that's it. It's in the art of flourishing, and I mean human flourishing, and I mean organizational flourishing, both. And we'll review. Come on over. Don't be shy. You're okay. It's okay. And how does it? And I really don't want to talk too much about. Well, I'm basing a lot of what I'm doing today on research I've done recently in positive psychology and coaching and improvisation. But I don't really want to bore you with the academic side and the theory. Okay, sorry, it's not boring, I know. You can read my academic papers if you want about this, or the book that I'm writing. But what I really want to do this morning is to show you how it feels to do the things that we're talking about. Is that okay? And I think this relates to you as human beings, and as coaches, and the organizations you work with, and also for your clients and their organizations. So there's many levels which you can think about as we have this special journey. Before I go any further, let me introduce the musicians. Just to say to you, we only met 30 minutes ago, except I do know Mark, and we've never played a song together before. There's been no discussion about what will happen. There has been no rehearsal. Because what I really want to talk about today is the value of cultivating improvisational behaviors and improvisational mindsets to bring about human flourishing. But it's also about being a great SF practitioner. So many things. You can stay there looking beautiful in your seats, but we're going to give you each a round of applause. Please welcome today on the drums, Mr. Krista Arts. There he is. So he doesn't know what to expect. If you think he looks a bit kind of nervous or excited, it's both are true, because he has no idea what will happen. And the same goes for, please welcome on the double bass today, the amazing Benny Van Acker. And a man who you may have met before on the saxophone, the beautiful Mark McCurgo. For those who don't know me, I'm Alex Steele, and I'm Alex Steele. And I've had a double life for many years. So you'll be pleased to know I'm a professional musician, and I grew up in a musical family. I was just telling you, my parents were both professional musicians, my grandparents were musicians, my brother's a musician, my cousins are musicians, and for me the music of jazz is a language that I grew up with from being a baby. But my father said to me as well, if you have other passions, pursue them, and I followed his advice. And my early career was as an environmental scientist, but I was mostly interested in behavioral change to bring about sustainable development. And in more recent years, I've been more focused on organizational psychology and recent research with positive psychology, which is kind of crazy and beautiful as well. So I have this double life. I'm partly an academic, partly a consultant, partly a coach by day, and by night, I'm a musician. So this isn't night time, is it? It feels a bit weird, right? Okay. So what we're going to do over the next 90 minutes is I'm going to take you on a journey through their minds, these beautiful minds, the brains that you have here, but more importantly than their brains, their hearts and their minds. So it's going to get emotional. Is that okay? Some of the experiments will involve us, obviously, and some will involve you as well. So there will be some audience participation. And you don't have to be a musician to get the value from this particular experience. Okay, so just to say, when we play jazz, it is like a language. We're having a conversation. So in terms of a beautiful conversation, a coaching conversation, think about that in terms of what you see, because we are speaking with vocabulary and with grammar that enables us to communicate. And mostly, if we play normal jazz songs, we're not going to do many normal jazz songs today, but normally we have a little bit of structure and lots of improvisation. And I know yesterday that Annie and Anya were talking about polarities, and I think the ultimate polarity you'll witness in this is this juxtaposition between freedom and structure. And I would say that 95% of what you hear in every song is improvised. That's a lot, right? Whereas 5% is the structure. Whereas, if Hasten, you were playing a classical piece, right? It'd be like pretty much 100%. You know what the notes are going to be. They might be on the music, but we don't have even any music today. Did you bring any music? I brought no music for you. So it's quite a risky pursuit, but it's full of joy as well. And of course, most real conversations we have are improvised in the same way. So I think we'll do 4 experiments over the next few minutes. And the first experiment, I really want to talk about how we deal with complexity, how we navigate uncertainty and ambiguity. In the business schools, they like to talk about VUCA, V-U-C-A, the world which is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, which sounds to me like jazz. And I want to talk to you in this first experiment about 2 possible scenarios you might face in the real world. First of all, how do we react when, in a conversation, somebody proposes a really radical idea? Not just a little bit creative, not just novel, but super radical, life-changing. It's the kind of proposition that could change the world. But it's also very risky. So how do we respond to that, okay? These things musically happen to us a lot, and we'll show them how. World-changing events. A similar scenario, but different context. How do we react when things go wrong? Which is interesting, isn't it? So, do we run away? Or is there some value in engaging with the error? So they're different things, but the way we react is similar, and that's what I want to explore. And the key lesson about this first experiment is how we judge when we play a piece of jazz. And the key thing is actually that we don't judge very quickly, which is counterintuitive to many leaders, senior leaders, because they feel that they have to make judgment very quickly. So this is what I want to explore with you. Before our first song, I'm going to tell a story, if that's okay. The story is a true story of Herbie Hancock, the piano player. And he's now a guy who's in his mid-80s. And he wrote an autobiography a few years ago. And he spoke about one of his very first concerts with Miles Davis. And Miles Davis was the great trumpet player. And Herbie Hancock was so excited, it was one of his very first gigs with Miles Davis, that when he came to play the first song, Miles Davis said, 1, 2, 3, 4. And he put his hands on the piano, and he missed, and he played lots of wrong notes. So what was he thinking in that moment? Let's imagine that you're Herbie Hancock. You look like Herbie Hancock. I'm Miles Davis. You played like 10 wrong notes. Oh no. And in front of the audience, they didn't stop the concert, right? We never stopped playing. Miles Davis played his trumpet. He played all the wrong notes back to Herbie. He played the wrong notes back. And actually, in that moment, they were therefore not wrong notes anymore. They became new notes with different value. We have a mission, I think, which is always to find the beauty in the unexpected. Okay? It's like being an SF coach, right? So, and it's like, as Hazen said yesterday, every key is the right key. Or we would say maybe there is no such thing as a wrong note. So that's what I want to explore. How is that possible to find beauty in the unexpected? Therefore, there is no error. You just search for value and beauty in the unexpected. And Herbie Hancock said he thought about what had happened for months. And he said the reason it could happen was because Miles Davis did not judge those notes. So, let me just tell you one thing before we play this song. Improvisers amongst you know this already. Let's say, Peter, let's imagine you say to me, I have this beautiful idea, it will change the world forever. And improvisers know there are 2 ways to respond to you, the good way and the bad way, the jazz way and the non-jazz way. And the bad way is I hear your idea, it's so crazy, and I say, I don't like the risk of this, so I say, yes, but, and you know, this blocks the idea. We don't do yes, but in jazz, ever. Even if I think your idea is so crazy, as the improvisers know, I say yes, and, because yes, and means I hear you. I accept this crazy thing you are saying. and I want to explore, I want to be curious, I want to build on the idea. And in life, you know, what kind of human being, think for a moment, what kind of human being are you? Are you naturally a yes and person? Or are you naturally a yes but person? And if you're a yes but person, and I imagine some percentage of you would say, that's me, I won't judge you, but I encourage you in this experiment to consider what the world might be like for you if you could be more yes and. And in terms of organizations, what kind of organization do you work within? Is it a yes and, or the team you work in? Do you work within a yes and team or a yes but team? Do you work in a yes and organization or a yes but organization? And the organizations you work for, the same questions follow. So, on that note, I would like to play our very first song, but it's going to be a little bit crazy because not only have we never played together before and we haven't had a rehearsal, I'm going to invite one of you to join us for this first song, and all you have to do is make us go wrong, okay? Because I want to see what happens, how the yes and non-judgmental conversation happens for us while we're playing this piece of music. But there is some significant disruption as we play. So, first of all, can I invite the musicians, give them a round of applause, to take their places. Now, you would be wondering, one of you, I think maybe someone on the front row can do this, wondering how will you make us go wrong? I have a very dangerous tool. It's ready. So, who wants to use this? Whoever, I'll just tell you what you're going to do, and then you can decide. Let's imagine you want Mark to go really wrong, really wrong. While he's playing, you just gently touch him on the shoulder. Something could happen. Now, all I want to say, just to reiterate, is only touch the shoulder. I learned from a mistake that I should actually be specific about what you do with this, okay? So only touch the shoulder, and only touch them gently, okay? Because once I didn't give those instructions, and we had like an Aikido karate extravaganza, which you wouldn't want to experience, okay? Who wants to take this, okay? Yeah, you're coming? Was that a yes from over there? Yeah, come. Yeah. Tony. So just to say to you, yeah, this is it, he's practicing. You can make anybody go wrong at any time. If, let's imagine, Krista, you did it to him and you thought, oh, that was so cool. You can go back and do it again. Okay. You can make us go wrong as many times as you like. All I would say to you is give us a little bit of time to recover, so we might explore resilience in this experiment as well. And we're going to play Caravan. We'll start with the melody, but as soon as we get the first disruption, we have to see what happens. And what I want you to do is watch carefully what happens. Be curious about what's happening as you observe the jazz yes and conversation. Okay. How about Amazing. You can take a seat again now. Hey, you were great.
Cheers. Very good. Nice.
Do you want to come on tour with us?
Yeah.
I never played a song like that in my life before. Did you ever play Caravan like this before? I don't think you did. So that was a yes and conversation, and I'm just going to do a little 2-minute experiment with all of you, to give you a feeling of both the fear and the joy of this kind of thing. I have a gift for you. I've invented a thing for you. Now, I don't know if you know what I mean by a normal swear box. A swear box is what I used with my kids when they were small and they had some bad language, which they mostly copied from me. And I'd say, you cannot say those bad words because it's not polite. So they'd have to put some coins into the swear box. My gift for you is my invention called the yes but swear box. And I have a challenge for you. For the next 2 weeks, at every meeting you attend, you make a thing called the yes but swear box and you place it on the table. And you tell your colleagues, for the duration of this meeting, it might be 30 minutes, it might be 15 minutes, whatever, you are not allowed to say yes but. And if you do, you pay the fine. I think it's maybe 10 euros. And be careful because sometimes people are cheating. The other day someone said, with respect. And I thought, that means it's yes but, right? So I charged them 20 euros for that. And somebody tried to be really clever. They tried to cheat and they said, with the greatest respect. It sounded polite, but it really means I hate your idea. I don't like it. So we're going to do a 2-minute experiment before the next song. And I want you to stay exactly where you are and talk to the person next to you. And I want you to imagine that the yes but swear box is right in front of you. You know what it means, okay? You cannot say yes but. So for 2 minutes, you're going to have a yes and conversation. And one of you will start the conversation with the phrase, wouldn't it be great if, and then say something so crazy, so beautiful, so radical, something that will change the world forever. Maybe a little bit controversial. It's okay to be controversial. Is it okay? So talk to the person next to you. If you find you are in an odd number, you can have a group of 3. It's no problem. So wouldn't it be great if, If anybody says yes, but by accident, maybe someone should scream so we can hear when it happens, and then get back to yes and I'll see you in 2 minutes. Wouldn't it be great if... So, that wasn't long enough. So my challenge to you is to pause your conversation there and to continue your yes and conversations over dinner this evening, and in every break we have as well. And we haven't got time to do a debrief until dinner time with beer, okay? Maybe the challenge should be, because Mark and I will be there later, wherever we happen to be, you should come up to me and Mark specifically and say something so crazy and see how we do yes and in response, okay? And do it to each other. And be curious about this yes and thing. Be curious about what the words are that come out of your mouths all the time. Because if you are conscious and mindful of what's happening, you might be surprised at how much either yes and or yes but is coming out. It's also a great thing to do with husbands and wives, boyfriends and girlfriends, parents, children. My children, I have 3 kids and they're all yes and kids, right? And they're having a good life. It's a bit crazy. My oldest son used to break his legs and things all the time because he would be going, yeah, I'll do that, yes and. But he's survived and it's all okay. So be mindful of this, experiment, be curious about the words you hear around you. Be curious of the words that your clients are using as well. And always, of course, look for the beauty in the unexpected. Right, talking of the beauty in the unexpected, I want to move straight into the second experiment. And I think this is probably something which I've picked up many years ago from the SF world, and it's the idea of the value of cultivating a beginner's mind. I'm sure we've discussed this before, but I want to look at it through the lens of jazz and music. What is the beginner's mind? You're thinking. You are both amazing at this, even though you don't realize it yet. So there's a phrase, I think it's from, you probably know this better than me, it's from Japanese Zen Buddhism. And the phrase is, in the mind of the expert, there are few possibilities. In the mind of the beginner, there are many. Which is kind of cool, right? If you think about that. In the mind of the expert, there are few possibilities. In the mind of the beginner, there are many. Because as experts, this might sound counterintuitive. I'm saying to all the experts in the room, I want you to let go of your expertise. I want you to instead to see the world through the eyes of a beginner. Because experts kind of do things the same way over and over again. We're all guilty of this. We get stuck. We start using habits to do the everyday things that we do. Or we live our life in autopilot. Or the worst case scenario, it's like a zombie. No thinking, just acting based upon habit. And the beginner's mind is really different. First, there's 2 things you can do to get the beginner's mind. One is you're open to learning, and so here we are, right? We're learning new things, and the growth mindset and the improvisational mindset are the same thing. The second way of doing this, which is more challenging, I think, is to unlearn, to notice where things are not maybe useful anymore, and to let go of that way of doing things, and to unlearn. Unlearning is really hard. As a musician, I do it if I listen to myself on a recording and I go like, wow, why did I do that thing on the piano? It's like autopilot. So, or if I'm practicing, I record myself. And I guess we can do the same things as well. So letting go of ways of doing things and unlearning. And there was another quick story to share with you before we do something so beautiful it might make you cry, because I think it will be beautiful. There was an interview a few years ago with Gary Peacock, the bass player who played with Keith Jarrett and Miles Davis. And he told the story of when he went to a recording session with Miles Davis. Miles Davis tends to be in all the stories. And he said they were going to record an album of famous jazz standards. So all the musicians probably arrived thinking, yeah, I know what this is, I know what to do. I played these songs so many times before. And then when they arrived, Miles Davis said to them all, what I want to hear you play in this recording is what you don't know. And they went, oh. What I want to hear you play is what you don't know. This was an invitation to cultivate the beginner's mind, to be in this territory where you're not relying on habits and autopilot, to be deeply curious, to be deeply experimental. And this was the catalyst that made a beautiful recording. And in an interview with the bass player, Gary Peacock, he said, at first they were quite amazed at this instruction. And then he said, what they had to do was be very quiet inside. They had to be listening very deeply in every moment. They had to be fully present in every moment, which is how we should be playing jazz, of course, all the time. If habits come in, it's more difficult. So to be present, fully present, and in the moment, deeply mindful. He said they had to let go of any fixed ideas they'd arrived with about what it should or shouldn't sound like. And they had to be alive, much more alive and in the moment. But he also said in doing this beginner's mind thing, he felt there was some vulnerability within the band. And it could work because they learned to trust each other and they had psychological safety within their team. So vulnerability comes from the beginner's mind. Now, you won't be surprised to know that I'm going to challenge all of us to be in beginner's mind mode now, with all that vulnerability and curiosity. But here's the extra thing I want to do. I want to invite one of you to join us for this experiment. And to be eligible to join us, you must not be a musician. Anton, you're disqualified. Hasten, you're disqualified. Many of you are disqualified. You must have never played a musical instrument ever in your life. So I'm going to invite a real beginner to join us here on stage now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to sit with me on the piano stool, and we're going to play a brand new song. There's going to be no structure. It's going to be 100% improvised. It's a beautiful opportunity for a yes and conversation. Every note is the right note. There's no such thing as a wrong note. Whatever you play will be what the song is. And we, with our beginner's minds as well, will tune in to you, sitting with me here, to create a brand new composition right now. So, if I ask you to take your places, and I'm going to invite the person who's never played before to come and join me right now on the piano. Nothing can go wrong. Yeah. Welcome. Come and sit with me here. We'll just bring it in a bit.
Okay.
So, can I just confirm you've never played the piano before?
Never anything.
Okay, never anything.
Yeah, maybe a Jews harp, but
okay,
this is just
that
like
doesn't count. No, that's
fine.
So, I'm going to give you just a few instructions here. Thank you. We're only going to play on the black notes. I'll play down here. You play up there. That's easy, right? Just the black notes. You can play with your right hand or your left hand or both hands. You can play single notes or many notes. Everything is okay. Now, just to say one secret of jazz, okay, it's not just about the notes you play, it's about the story that you are telling. So I'm looking at you now, and I think as I look at them, they want to hear a love story. Can you, without telling us with words, think of love, and then we're going to play.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful song, fully improvised. Clearly, there's been no rehearsal. And what I would say, guys, is let the song begin on the piano, listen to the conversation, and then, if you think it's appropriate, come into the conversation. If you think it's not, you can stay quiet. But just listen and see what happens. So, are you ready? And ladies and gentlemen, please watch with curiosity in terms of what's about to happen. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you a question. First of all, I think this is so beautiful, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
You were really creative. So you said you didn't play before, but you know, I believe inside every human being there is like some music, right? And so, how are you feeling? I mean, I'm going to ask you, what was it like?
Well, I liked I felt really connected to all of you. The thing that I have is I really have to aim for the black. Yeah.
You hit the right notes. It's okay.
Yeah.
And how did you feel about, if you like, did you trust us, for example?
Yeah, fully.
Fully?
Uh-huh. And it felt like I tuned into something which was between us.
Yes.
Yeah.
That interaction, you know, the action in the interaction. You guys were also wonderful, because what was interesting was you came and you were brave and you trusted us and we trusted you, and there is no wrong note, so every note we look for the beauty. It wasn't difficult to find, right? You were also very rhythmical in your playing, and so you guys were great. You picked up on the cues that came from somewhere within you. I felt the love, they felt the love. And but what's interesting was, because we trusted you, you were also the leader, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? Because we had full trust in you, whatever you played is what we used, and so you were the leader, and yet you never played before.
No.
So it's cool.
And I have to tune into love. For me, this was a good thing, the easy thing, like just okay.
Which is, I think, is interesting for us, because if you tune into an emotion, it changes the way you play. So, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our new amazing piano player. You are amazing. Thank you. I'm just curious for a moment, does anybody have any comment about what they observed there and the relevance of that in the real world? I'm just curious if anyone has an instant reaction. Is this idea of the beginner's mind actually useful in your different worlds? Does anyone? I'll look for one quick comment if anyone wants to say something. Yes, please.
I was just extremely curious.
Yes.
This curiosity, and it just brought me into your story.
So you were deeply curious, and then you felt very connected to what had happened there. It's a beautiful thing, right? The curiosity was here, and it was with you at the same time. Okay, and you tuned in. Thank you for that. Yeah, what would you like to say?
I found it interesting, like the different techniques.
Thank you very much. I think whatever the different techniques are, you see, that's an interesting comment, isn't it? And it's about, in terms of human flourishing, it's about compassion and curiosity and love and zest and energy, many, many emotions. Did I see a hand here? Yeah.
Well, it went immediately straight into the heart.
Straight into the heart. This is the beauty of jazz. And of course, if we have conversations like this in reality, it's so beautiful. I think the challenge, of course, then for us all, there are two things. How do you treat real beginners when you come across them? You treat them with kindness and compassion and love and respect, and you listen to them because they have some really cool ideas. Because, you know, some organizations, they get closed down very quickly. But the biggest challenge, and again, let's talk about this later, is how do you as an expert cultivate the beginner's mind in yourself? And because we get stuck, even us brilliant SF people, we get stuck as well. So this is the challenge that we face. And with the beginner's mind comes vulnerability, but if we're surrounded by beautiful people and we do have psychological safety, we can delve more deeply. Now, let's go even more intense with our emotional journey. And I want to do something now that I've done very few times in public. I experimented with it actually initially, and I think John Brooker will remember this, online, as an online experience during the pandemic. And I want to do it live. I don't think I've ever done it maybe once ever, so this might be the second time it's ever happened in front of an audience. And you're thinking, what is he going to make me do now? First of all, I want to introduce you to an improvisational model that I've borrowed from someone else, which I'd like to briefly explain. and then we're going to do something quite amazing. The model I've taken, it's from a guy, an author called Robert Poynton. He wrote a book called Everything is an Offer. And there are 3 components to his model. He didn't write this model to do with jazz, but I think it relates to life and it relates to jazz as well as standard improvisational behavior. The 3 things are: let go, use everything, notice more. I want to talk about those 3 things very quickly. So always say to ourselves, what might I let go of in this moment? You can let go of judging, we've discussed that already. Let go of needing to be right. Let go of needing to be clever. Let go of your expertise, the beginner's mind. Let go of the need to be in control and to trust someone else will take control. Let go of habit, routines. Let go of yourself. I want to talk a bit more briefly, shortly, about the difference between ego, this yourself, and the kind of the whole ecosystem of a team or an organization. So letting go of yourself is that one. Let go. Secondly, use everything. So we already know you can use errors or mistakes or accidents in conversations or in the music. We know from SF that what is there in that moment is all that you have, and you find the beauty that it's in front of you. You don't waste your time and energy worrying about what you don't have. It's an SF principle. There's a famous story which was from 1975 of the jazz pianist Keith Jarrett. Very famous concert he played in Cologne in the Opera House. And when he arrived at the Opera House, he found that the piano that was there was the wrong piano. It was a very small piano. It wasn't his Bosendorfer Imperial concert grand piano he'd asked for. They'd made a mistake. It was a little practice baby grand. In all of the Opera House, he said, it's too small. And they persuaded him to try it. He said, okay, I'll try it. And he found there were many notes that did not work. The pedal did not work properly, and it was not in tune. So what is he going to do? And he's got many people sitting there in the Opera House waiting for him to play. And he is really famous throughout his career of arriving, playing solo piano, only himself, fully improvised concert. This is a big thing. So he said, well, this is the unplayable piano. How am I supposed to do this? But then, of course, he went, let me see what's working. So he also said to his producer, listen, I will do this concert, but please do not record this concert. It's gonna be terrible. So he sat down, everyone's quiet, and he found the notes that worked. And he couldn't use this pedal very much. He had to play in parts of the piano he wouldn't normally play. It was a little quiet, and he had to really kind of bang the piano with energy. And so he played the piano like he'd never played before. And the producer, Manfred Eicher, he recorded the concert. He ignored Keith Jarrett's request. And to this day, as everyone knows over this side, this is still the best-selling solo piano jazz album in history because it was so beautiful. There's a good example of the need to use everything that you have in front of you. Lastly, in this model, number 3 is notice more. And maybe this is my favorite part of the model. Notice more, be present. Observe, using all of your senses, what is around you. Shift away from yourself to all the beauty. If you ask yourself, you can do it right now, to be present in this moment and suddenly look around and ask yourself, what do I see that is beautiful? You can try it for 20 seconds. There are things we haven't noticed in front of us here. It could be a thing, it could be the building, it could be a human being, it could be my face. There's beauty everywhere, right? And this is, it's about being deeply curious and noticing everything, all the details around you, as you would do in an SS conversation. So, what are we going to do with this model? I have a gift to offer one of you in the audience right now. I want to do a musical portrait of somebody, which means one of you will sit in the chair here and we will play a fully improvised piece of music which is inspired by the beauty, which is one of you. To do this, we have to let go use everything and notice more. And for you, the volunteer, you've got to come, you've also got to let go of anything that you're thinking what this will be like, and to sit here and to bathe in the music. This is only a song crafted in real time, only for you. So that's all I want to say. So are you okay with that instruction as well? What I'll do is I'll start the piece, if you listen to the beginning for some time, and then observe the human being, listen to me, and let's see if this musical portrait can evolve. And again, this is also an experiment in how you sense another human being. How do you sense another human being deeply? What might happen? So, who would like to have a musical portrait undertaken right now in front of all this? Yes, we got Peter. Oh yes. So there you go. Thank you so much. So if I sit you, how about there? You look quite relaxed. I like this already. So I'll begin.
It's lovely. Thank you. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Can you still talk?
No, it's all feeling. It's just
So
no words.
we don't need
Just-
words for that, do we?
No.
So the most beautiful subject I ever painted. Thank you to Peter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wow. So, any comments about that, apart from it being beautiful? This was an experiment how we sense another human being. And you were great. It's an emotional thing, isn't it, as well, I think, to be bathed in this, to feel to be seen in this way.
Yeah. Actually, when you announced the experiment, I knew I was so much attracted. I had to do it. Yeah.
I'm glad you did, because you have a nice face to paint as well. You all have beautiful faces to paint. So, again, you can make sense of this as you wish. For me, from our point of view, and thank you for being part of that, it was about sensing who you are. And it was interesting for me because as I made some sketches of you, as you responded, it changed the music. So you were a part of the music in a very intense way. And I suppose otherwise, I think this model is quite useful. Let go, use everything, notice more. So you can ask yourself in your meditations or your journaling, what can I let go of in life? It could be in life, or it could be right now, is there something I should let go of? It's a good question to ask. Be mindful of that as a prompt as you think. If you are going to use everything right now, what can you use? What might happen? Make sure there are no resources in front of us that are left unused. That there are things there that can be used to good effect. And lastly, if you notice more, what might you sense? What might you see? What might you hear? And what difference would it make? So what a beautiful way to play jazz. What a beautiful way to have a conversation. What a beautiful way to live your life. Right. I would like to go to the next experiment. And in this next experiment, I want to give 4 of you this time an opportunity to feel what it's like to be in good company. By the way, having looked at my watch, I think we're going to have a bonus experiment here. So this isn't the final experiment. I want you to feel what it's like to be in good company. And I came across a really interesting leadership model recently. I work with lots of business schools in the UK and Europe. And I met the authors of a book who had described something called 3 types of leadership intelligence. One was ego, one was eco, and one was intuitive. And the ego intelligence is kind of the stuff that you need to do within yourself. The eco stuff was about recognizing the ecosystem that we are part of, that we are not just one person, but here we are 4. And the intuitive side of this leadership model was around how you sense other people, your gut feelings in your interactions with others. So this will also be a little experiment which looks at that model in a more emotional way. In simple terms, when we play jazz normally, we have this dynamic between leading and following. So at any time, one of us can kind of say, I will be the leader. And one of us will step forward and take control, play a solo, and it happens organically. And in our organisation, the jazz team, when we've had enough, we think this is enough now. We kind of we end out the story that we told, and then we are very good at stepping back. We are very good at letting go of control, and we trust that someone else will step forward in that moment. We have this model of collective or distributed leadership in jazz. And we also, as well as letting go and trusting others, we actively empower our colleagues to have the confidence and the courage to step forward. So in the space of a piece of music, we have that dynamic between leading and following. And in this experiment, I want to give you, 4 of you, the feeling of how to control that dynamic. But I want to give you 3 options, actually, and I'll explain how in a moment. You will be able to control, 4 of you will come here, and each of you will control one of the musicians. And you can do 3 things to your musician. Number 1, you can make them become the leader whenever you think it's the right time. How do you do that? Oh, that was good. I heard a nice noise there. That was a nice noise. In the key of B flat as well. That was very nice. How do you make someone become the leader? Let's imagine you're standing by Mark and you want him to become the leader. This beautiful hat, if you place it on his head, if this goes on your head, you become the leader. So guys, you will have a controller, and when they want you to take a solo to be the leader, is it okay? Do you mind? Is it okay? It's clean. I cleaned it last week. Okay. That's option 1. If you want your musician to be a follower, you remove the hat and you place your hand on the shoulder of the musician. So if there is a hand on your shoulder, you'll give them permission to play, but you're just supporting, following, comping. No problem. And for you, it's a bit kind of weird, I suppose. You go, okay. And then option 3, this is maybe the coolest option. If you've had enough of your musicians, enough already, you can switch them off. So if you remove the hat and you take your hand away from them so there's no physical contact, you get switched off. Okay. It works with, that could be quite cool in the real world. It doesn't exist, right? If someone's really annoying you, and you can just kind of go, you can try it. So, can I ask you to take your places, and can I ask 4 people to step forward and choose your musician? Come on, yeah, you can come. We've got 2, and we need another 2 people, please. You've got a very exciting job over there. You've got that. We need 2 more controllers over here, please. If anybody wants to come, yeah, come on. Yeah. Oh, someone's running fast. It's you that will you play the nose horn? Welcome. Yeah. So you have me, I think. You gotta have me. You have me. It's okay. That's for you. That's for you. Here we go. You can have that hat there. Oh, you can take that one, and that's for you. Right. Now. I can tell you again, don't worry. Because you were busy practicing in B flat on your nose horn. So I will tell you one more time. If you put, let's try it with the drums. If you put the hat on his head, he becomes the leader. Okay. If you take the hat off, but you put your hand on his shoulder, he's just playing normal, not leading. And if you let go, he stops. It's okay? It's okay, that's the instruction.
Sure. Thank you.
Now.
A bit tired.
It's okay. So let me say to the 4 controllers, first of all, thank you for stepping up. I want to tell you this model of eco, intuitive leadership. I want to remind you that this is not just about you. Because you might get excited and go, oh, this is so good, and make me go crazy. And what you have to do is be aware of the other controllers. So maybe look at each other and in real time decide, who's going to lead. And you could also decide, maybe there should be more than one leader. What would happen if there's more than one? You are welcome to try. Okay? Also be aware that if you switch this all off at the same time, it's going to be kind of boring. So, and I don't know how the song will end. And you could even you could decide in real time, let's turn the saxophone and the piano off and see what happens if you have drums and bass. All these possibilities, unlimited. You okay? Right, we're going to do a blues. I'll count 4. Do a blues in F. Blues in F, that's okay, isn't it? And shall we see what happens? So, can we have a hand on the shoulder of everybody? And then we're going to begin. And everyone else, be curious and watch. Notice as much as you can of what happens. I'll count 4, blues in F. Do you want to remove the hat for a minute? Or you want it? Just have the hand on the shoulder like this.
You're not wearing a hat.
No one's wearing a hat yet. I don't know what's going to happen. All right, blues in F. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that was very interesting. I quite enjoyed that. Thank you so much. Before you go, I need to ask you all a question about what was happening for you. I'll ask you first, right? Because I think you treated me, sometimes I felt care and love, sometimes I felt a bit of like abuse. Yeah. Because like, I was just getting into flow and you go, but what was in your head? It was beautiful, thank you. But what was happening in your head as you did it?
No, actually, when I came down, I thought I will do things like this, so there's none of abuse. You can.
Oh, well, it was really nice sometimes.
But it struck me that I should have worked together with you because I was focused on what is happening and if we can cooperate. I didn't have any idea about cooperating with you.
Oh, I see. Shit. It was cool. So, okay, pause there. How was it for you, controlling Mark?
Oh, it was, I just felt like all 8 of us were together, which was lovely.
Yeah.
And to be able to, as mostly a non-musician, to influence music, it was exciting. And I don't know, it was thrilling. It was a lot of fun.
It was cool. And how did you feel about interacting with the other 3 controllers? Was that straightforward?
I had eyes on all 3, on the other 3.
Yes.
And I feel like we collaborated and had ideas and could share our ideas.
Okay, that's a good response. Sven, how was it controlling the bass, Benny? How did it feel for you?
Well, I think he's such an amazing bass player. I really wanted to hear 10 minutes solo, but be honest, we're thinking the other way around.
Okay.
But I think it's really awesome that you have so much possibilities.
Yes.
4 leaders, 3 leaders, no leader, 1 player, or numerous possibilities.
So that's beautiful, right? Yeah, thank you for that. And I think he treated you quite nicely. Not like what I got. I'm joking. So now, hello you. What was it like controlling this amazing drummer?
So it was great. Like, I think we cooperated really good.
You did. Amazing, it was good. And you were lucky, right? Because you had the best instrument to kind of control. Because it's all noisy and crazy, right? Yeah. So well done, team. Now, I'm curious about a thing here, because how did you kind of... I think the way you communicated with each other was, I guess, looking at each other, right? You're just looking at each other, you're listening to the sound, but you can see what's happening. And I have a thought for our final experiment, which you'll be pleased to know won't involve the 4 of you, because I'm going to say thank you in a moment to you, but you can be here, just take the limelight for another few seconds. These people did a great job, I think. We can go on tour together, all right? This is going to be good. But go on, give them one more round of applause. But here's my final challenge. What I'm going to do is ask 4 new people to come up now, because I'm curious to know, in terms of how you sense the music, how you feel inside the music, how you sense the other musicians, what would happen if you couldn't see them? On that note, I'm going to ask you to put your hats there and sit down. And thank you so much. You can go. Thank you so much. You were fantastic.
Thank you.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for looking after me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. What I want to happen here is I want 4 new people to come up, and I'm going to tell you how we're going to do this experiment. Well, it's quite simple. I'm going to give you blindfolds, right? You will not be able to see. So for us, it's a similar experience, except they might not know where your head is and kind of start feeling you and things. So can I have 4 new people, please? Come on up right now. So now thank you for the 4 of you for coming up. So this is different. How do you sense another human being when you cannot see them? So I think you have to be more present, you have to be more deeply immersed in the music, but you know the rules now, okay? So you know you have to, again, let go of your ego. It's not just about going, and making crazy things happen to me or whatever. And the mission is simply make us sound beautiful. It's okay? So let's see if there is a difference in what happens here. So if you...
Should we do it in E flat for a change?
I was going to ask you to do it in G, actually. Is that all right for a change? Is that a good one?
No, but it's all right.
I'll make it a bit slower and I'll count it in. But can I, so blindfolds on. And then put your hand on my shoulder if you can find me. I'm here. There you go. You got it? Right. Right, that's good. So hands on the shoulders.
No, you should put your hand on my shoulder.
Put your hand on the shoulder to begin with. Then you will be able to find your way to the head. Okay. Right, I'll count. We'll do it in G, and then I'll count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was great. So, stay here for a moment. I need to ask you some questions. Thank you for the applause. That felt different to me. It was a different experience. So before I say too much though, I'll ask you first. So how did it feel for you?
I was focusing on what I'm hearing and my intuition.
Yes, good. Which you did very well. It's interesting, I think, I felt you would move me in the different modes when it felt like the right time for me. I thought, okay, you may be quiet, or you may be loud, or you may be lead. Somehow you knew.
Yeah, like I wanted to connect.
Yeah.
Without seeing, but based on also the intuition.
Okay. So thank you for that. That was really cool.
And I'm happy to hear that it also felt good for you.
It felt good for me, yeah. There was less abuse on that one. How was it for you, controlling the great Mark McCurgo?
It was just greatness out on display. I think one of the things that was, for me, was because I'm partially deaf, so I think judging the depth and also the distance was a bit tough. So it was interesting, I think, that to really kind of feel how Mark is moving, and like when he gets into that flow, and earlier you mentioned, really let Mark shine in that moment. And then what if you actually release that?
Yeah.
And how does it go as well? Yeah.
Okay, that's
so really
interesting.
And
a big challenge, right? So you can't see and you're partially deaf. You did a great job. That's amazing, right? Wow. Amazing. Right, let me come see John. You had the joy of controlling the double bass. What happened for you? How did it feel?
I think I have a new love for the double bass.
Yeah.
Outstanding. I got the feeling that you guys were blindfolded. It kind of felt the same, you know. I felt very much in harmony with Benny, and then I don't know why. I just when I took my blindfold off, I thought, oh, you guys can see. But it was a feeling like you were interacting in a way other than sight, like we were.
That's interesting because I mean I often close my eyes when I'm playing anyway, and we all do, I guess, don't we? We open them from time to time to check in, then we kind of go back down. And so maybe some of the time we were with you, I don't know exactly, but maybe we had our eyes closed as well.
How did you feel? Do you mind me asking?
Yeah. Go on, we've got a question. How did you feel?
Well, for me it's new, a surprise to have an external control.
Yes.
Because normally I'm used to interact with sound and keep my heart open, and also my experience, I'm using it for listening. But now I also need to feel an external control and take that in account and keep being musical.
Yeah.
And that's new.
That's a great answer, really good answer, good question. Thank you for that. And then, thank you. And then, Aaron, you had this great experience with the drummer. How were you feeling?
It felt very, very exciting. I noticed that on one hand, even if I put the hat on, I needed to touch him, so I needed to feel that we are still connected.
Okay, yeah.
That was interesting. I wasn't aware before. Also, I noticed that it's, in my understanding, drum is a supporting instrument, and in the beginning that was very tempting to play and do some. Then I realized that I'm more just paying attention for all the others and waiting for when it's our turn, to do some extra, and basically you don't do anything very special, and it was very, very nice.
That's really good. Okay, and I suppose for the four of you that are here, what might you do differently when you go back into that's the real world over there. What might you do differently in terms of engaging with groups of people, or even on a one-to-one level? Is there anything that you've experienced here that you can take away and maybe experiment with?
I think for me it's the use everything bit, use every sense. I mean, by taking away a primary sense like sight, I was trying to connect with Benny, but I was also trying to listen to all three of these, and I was trying to just not only hear what you were playing, but sense what these guys were timing as well. Did they feel it was their time to lead, or did they want to pull back? And I also didn't want us to disturb the music. I had a bit of fear of we'd all suddenly do something wrong and all of a sudden something would stop, so you really had to connect with the other seven. Really,
yes,
around, so.
Thank you, So I guess for everyone else observing that, reflect on what have you noticed in that experience and what might you try in the real world to experiment with that. So can I have a big round of applause for these four amazing human beings? Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just listening to John, they're concerned that it might stop. But one of the things you learn as a jazz musician is that even if everyone stops, the music is kind of kicking along behind in the background.
Yeah.
So we're all still counting, and we're all still noticing the bars go past and the chords go past. So when you come in, we're all together still, even though we might for 5 seconds nobody's played anything. So don't worry about it stopping, because you know, it's still going and it will come back. So
good.
just to say, and sometimes people don't understand how jazz works, but
Yes.
even if everyone stops, you know, the time keeps going in the background.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, I'll come to you and I'll come to you. I'll go to you first, yeah? Who want? Okay, yeah, you go first.
Wouldn't it be great if the musicians would have a blind?
Oh, hang on, you can't hear, can you? Oh, no, you can't. Can you say that?
Wouldn't it be great if the musicians would have a blindfold?
Yes.
The same experience just with you guys have a blindfold.
I'll accept that challenge, and in a moment we might play one last song. We'll do it. Oh my God! I don't know how we're going to do this. And yeah.
I was just curious about one place when you were without your hands, so shut down, and then you had to lead, or you were leading and had to go to shut down. I think that must have been a challenging moment, and I'm curious about that.
So do you mean that when I was silent?
From pose, going to...
Yeah, so that happened to me, I think, maybe others as well. I mean, but as Mark just said, we know where we are, even in the silence, we know where we are in space and time, so that when I'm asked to be the leader, even if I've been silent before, I'm not continuing from where I played before. I'm in real time. I've moved forward, so I know where I am. Well, sometimes, mostly. So good question. So I suppose it is worth reflecting, you know, as John just said, about the senses that we use as we engage with other human beings. And I haven't been there. I don't know if anyone else has. In London, there's a restaurant called Dans la Nuit, as you know, the French speakers in the night, and it's run by blind waiters and waitresses. So when you eat there, it's completely pitch black. And supposedly, I haven't been there, it makes you sense and taste the food in a different way. Has anyone been to this restaurant? Yeah, so I think it's something we should maybe get a gig there, actually. That'd be so cool. Which we're going to take your challenge in a minute with the blindfolds. So, of course, I'm not suggesting that in your next coaching conversation you have to kind of wear blindfolds or turn the lights out. But if you thought it was okay, I guess you could try it. So that'd be kind of weird. Or your next team meeting. So, we've come to the end just about. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of you and the Soul World organisers for inviting us to be here. You've been amazing. And let's have a big round of applause for these three amazing musicians, Mr. Benny and Mark. So, think about all the things we've been talking about today. Think about your SF practice. Think about emotion. Think about flourishing, human flourishing, organisational flourishing, all these things. And come back to me with your reflections either later today or just message me on WhatsApp or LinkedIn. You can find me because I'm writing this book at the moment about this experience and about what it means for human beings and for organisations. So it's part of a long research project with probably hundreds of organisations over the last few years and thousands of participants. So I'd like your stories to be heard in there as well. So we would like to play. We're going to accept your challenge. I've never done this in my life. This is crazy. We're going to play. Let me give you the blindfolds and we'll play St. Thomas. Is that okay? This is going to be so exciting. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Right. I'll just put that on. I'll count. Actually, I'll tell you what. Krista, you can just. Do you want to start? You start, and then we'll come in. And well, the melody will come in. But if you want to start with the drum beat. So this is a song. Oh, did I tell you? This is a song called St. Thomas by Sonny Rollins. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's keep improvising. Thank you to these great. Let's take a bow. Come, let's go. Let's go. Come in. Okay, 1, 2, 3, let's go! Thank you so much. Thank you so much. 2025. We've been in good company.
Yeah, we certainly have. Thank you, everybody. That's beautiful.
I couldn't play seriously. I thought, fuck it, I can't find any fucking notes here. That's us. Whoa! I think they liked it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Very nice.